Hi everyone, it's time to do units of time. We've been doing all the other types of measurement for length and weight and capacity, so now we're going to move on to measuring units of time. So put a few symbols on here to remind you that time relates to seconds and minutes and months and weeks and so on. So that's what we're going to take a closer look at today. Today, you will learn to use different units of time, and primarily, you will be able to compare and convert. So first, take a peek at all of these vocabulary words related to time. These are all different units. And I want you to grab a piece of paper and see if you can list all of these units of time in order, from smallest to largest. Go ahead and pause the video, take a minute to see if you can put them in order from smallest to largest. No peeking at the answers. All right, so here's what I did. I decided to start with the smallest unit. And when I looked at this whole list, I knew that when we count a second, that goes by fast as a snap. So seconds are definitely the smallest. Then I was looking at all of these things and I couldn't decide about these three words. I know these have to do with collecting years, but I don't know which one is the biggest. I mean, I do, but I'm just telling you how students might think. They might be familiar with those words, but not entirely sure which one is the biggest. All right, so now I look at what's left. When you gather seconds and you get 60 of them, you will have 1 minute. After you collect 60 minutes, you will have an hour. When you collect 24 hours, you'll have a whole day. When you collect 7 days, you'll have a week. When you collect about 4 weeks, then you have a month. When you collect 12 months, you will have a year. So those are all those units of measurement going from smallest to largest. Let's talk about the three that's left. The next is decade. A decade is the same as 10 years. A century, a century is the same as 100 years. And a millennium is the same as 1,000 years. So these here at the bottom are still going in order from smallest to largest. So after a year is decade, century, millennium. Let me repeat some of those equivalencies or comparisons between the different units of measurement. So, looking at the first one, we can see the words second and minutes. And I'm just going to go through these kind of quickly. You're going to have a chart to look at. So just wanted to kind of do a refresher. But these are definitely things you should be memorizing because these are skills and bits of knowledge you're going to use in your daily life. So these are important pieces of information that you should definitely know. All right, so if you collect 60 seconds, that will be 1 minute. If you collect 60 minutes, then you will have 1 hour. When you collect 24 hours, you now have 1 whole day. When you collect 7 days, you have 1 week. Moving on, if I have 1 month, that is the same as about 30 days. I'm going to write about. Some months have 30, some 31, and then February is the oddball with 28. If you have 1 whole year, how many days is that? That is 365. Unless it's a leap year, then it's 366. If you have 1 month, you have about 4 weeks. It's not exact, but about 4 weeks. If you have 1 year, that's the same as 52 weeks. Continuing on, let's repeat this again. If you have 10 years, that is 1 decade. This prefix or this root, dec or deca, means 10. If you have 1 century, then you have 100 years. If you have 1 millennium, then you collected 1,000 years. Now we're going to use what we have learned to see if we can compare some different units. And I put the chart here for units of time to help you make the comparisons. Take a second and do those on your own to see if you can figure it out. Okay, number 1, we're comparing months and weeks. And so we need to think about, for months, it is about 4 weeks. So if I have 9 months, I'm going to multiply that times 4. 9 times 4 is 36. So that means 9 months is about 36 weeks. That means 9 months is greater than 27 weeks. Number 2, how many years are in 2 decades? Well, 1 decade is 10. So if I have 2 decades, I have 20 years. So 20 years is greater than 17. 17 years is less than 20 years. Number 3, we're comparing minutes and seconds. I'm going to take the minutes and change it into seconds. I know that there are 60 seconds per minute. So 5 times 60 is 300. 300 seconds and 300 seconds are equal. So 5 minutes is exactly the same as 300 seconds. Number 4, 44 months or 3 years. Which one is bigger? I'm going to change years into months. 3 years times 12, because there are 12 months in each year. So this would be 1 year plus another year plus another year, and that's 36 months. 36 months is less than 44 months. So 44 months is greater than 36.